That's a Detroit saying, Keith. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. What's happening, everybody?
Hey, Keith Butler in the house.
Jeff Lowe in the studio.
Yes, sir. And we're coming to you from the sixth hole. A beautiful overcast day. How can it be beautiful and overcast? Well, I guess it can be. We're still here. It's a beautiful day in Michigan.
In Detroit.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
We're coming to you, like Jeff said, from the sixth hole studio. And this is The Hook.
The Hook.
And, we talk about a little bit of everything, anything, something, whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
And today.
Well, hold that thought. Today, everything is sponsored by True Detroiter and Detroit United.
As always.
And don't forget to get your T-shirts. Vincent, thank you for getting your T-shirt, brother. That's a shout out to you. And we got to get you. We got some more stuff. We got hats, T-shirts, you name it. Ladies, men's, we can bring it to you, baby boy.
Yeah, we can.
Yes, sir. All right. Continue.
Okay. Thanks for the plug. Today, we're going to talk about education, which is always a vital and important topic in every child's life, every adult's life. We get where we are based on our education and based on our drive. And we've got somebody here today, that's a partner of yours.
Yeah, a very, very special guest. Things happen for a reason. I'm sitting here with Keith. We were thinking about, what are we going to talk about on this podcast today?
And the phone rings.
And the phone rings. And man, it's my man. My man I haven't talked to in a while. He rings me up. Mr. Shannon Mayfield. Let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Shannon Mayfield. He's an educator. He's an author. He's a coach. He's a father. And soon to be a principal back home in the great state of Michigan.
He's he's been in education for 20 years.
Yes.
We'd like to welcome you back to the show, Shannon. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing lovely, man. Fired up, very proud to be part of what you all are bringing to the table and sharing with other people, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit of something about yourself. Right now, you're a native Detroiter. We know that. But right now, you're in Davis, California?
I'm in Davis, California, completing some turnaround work at an elementary school in Sacramento. We've completely transformed an environment for a multicultural group of kids. The walls did not look like them. And the whole attitude I had about that work was, we don't have plain kids, so why should they be looking at plain walls? So artists from all around the country, from Chicago, from Boston, Sacramento, from LA, came and descended upon this campus. It was a serious surprise for the kids. And when they came back to school on that Monday, they didn't know this was going to hit them. As they walked through the gate, you would have thought they went to Disneyland. They were screaming and hollering and running all over the place. They could not believe what they were seeing. And that's what I'm doing right now. But I'm born and raised in Detroit. Grew up on Collingwood between Wildermere and Lawton.
Okay.
Remember the tanks rolling down my street when Dr. King was assassinated.
Yeah.
I remember all of those things. But Detroit, Cass Tech, the state of Michigan is what shaped and sharpened me from an educational perspective. So I am glad to bring any kind of discussion to this table with you all today.
So
it's morning for me.
So how did you get involved in education? What made you decide to become an educator? But before you answer that question, let me ask you. You said that you had all these people coming in from around the country to paint these walls. So
yes,
what are the murals? They look like the kids now, and what was the cost for it? How'd you get it done?
So we have a multicultural set of paintings all over the walls. We have one wall in particular off of 60th Street has the American flag on the one corner. But to the other side of this mural, it has a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Okay.
There's another wall, the Max Sansing wall, and he's also out of Chicago. He did a wall with two female images on there. They're both female images of color. And it has like a skeleton key on there. It has a reflection. And basically that key symbolizes, you looking up to your future. You are in control of your future. And it's just the imagery of it is just fantastic.
Right.
There's pandas on the wall. There's messaging, purposeful messaging on several walls. We've got a couple of Asian-looking students that are in like a pear grove on the wall. Goodness gracious, man. I can send pictures to Jeff after we're done so you all can see it yourself and look at the capture. But what we went from 47 plain nothings to 38 somethings that are really indicative of what we should be doing for kids right now.
And Shannon, that's interesting you say that, because we are beginning to see somewhat of a transformation like that within the Detroit system also. It's young students and students today are visual type of learners. And sometimes, this can impact them in a very positive way. And most of the time it's been effective. Yes.
And the one thing you just said now, and to Keith's point, because he asked about funding and how it was done, to add on to that, there's also a wall where the kids were able to put their hands in paint and put their hands on the wall. Okay. And the reason why their hands are on the wall is because they have a hand in on their legacy.
Yeah.
From this point forward, every student that comes through here sees all of these images, sees all of these murals, but they also see these hands on this wall. So we're going to try to continue that or pass that forward. But they actually, each kid from kindergarten through sixth grade had a chance to put their hands on this wall to show that the kids have their hands on the wall in the future as well. And it was funded through, I want to say this because you can look it up and see how it was. My whole challenge to the community was claim a wall. You need to claim a wall. We don't have plain kids. Claim one of these walls. Mm-hmm. So I challenged them strongly. I said, we're not paying for it. The school isn't, the district isn't. And so one of the parents in the community came to me and said, okay, let me stir this for you. So it ended up getting connected with Wide Open Walls, which is a program that runs in various different cities. These artists were going to already be in town with getting stipends to do work. And I challenged the director. I said, well, if they're getting a stipend to do some work, you need to have them come over here to Tahoe Elementary and put in some work on the campuses that are plain. They're ready for it. And they went for it, man. They went whole hog in for this. So it can happen. I know it can happen. It takes the right kind of leadership to drive it, the right attitude to drive it. Take your ego out of the way and do what's best for kids. And that's what we did.
Great, man. Okay, now I asked you earlier, how did you get involved in education? Because, it sounds like you were stoked, hyped, and you love doing what you're doing. Yeah. So how'd you get involved in what,
He's a coach, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about...
Yeah. To be quite honest with you, Mr. Butler, it started with my mother, Dr. Jean Mayfield, the late great. This is a black woman from the city of Detroit. Before it was nouveau for the PhD level to be obtained, Dr. Jean Mayfield, who's a West Sider, by the way, you can look her up you can Google search her, Dr. Jean Mayfield. Mm-hmm. She has a PhD, 2 masters, and a bachelor's. Whoa. So in our house on Collingwood, you had to know how to read it, write it, and recite it. And this is before the internet. This is before all of these push button gadgets and TikTok and all this, because mom and dad basically said to me, if you want to control your destiny, you better be able to articulate, speak, write, read, and do all those dynamic things that are necessary for you to be successful. Mm-hmm. Well, that stoked me right then. Started coaching when I was 13 under Raymond Stevens with the A's. But the flip that really got me from where I was to where I am as an educator was almost shooting 2 young African-American kids out on patrol one evening in Metropolitan ATL, man. I almost dropped the hammer on 2 black boys. And after that shift was over, I said, you know what? It's time for me to put the cuffs down, the gun down, pick up the book, and start educating. I was strong in math. I taught math. I came back into the city of Detroit at Detroit Southwestern, the former Pelham Magna Middle School. Actually, both of those schools are closed now. But I was teaching mathematics, coaching football. That's how Jeff Lowe and I reconnected. and we were doing some great things over there, man, turning out all kind of positive situations for student athletes. I'm still in touch with the lion's share of those young men and women. My 2 trainers went to college. We had 58 student athletes go to various colleges throughout the nation, Division I through junior college all over the country. Our team GPA was 3.3. We had kids qualifying on the ACT as sophomores back then. So we were getting it in. Now,
I like to hear stuff like that because, you watch TV and commentators are talking about, oh, he's so talented, and they talk about our cousins, as I call them from time to time, white players. They're so smart. They don't think that we have the background, the intellectual background to not just be talented, but to be academic. And you said your players left on an average of a 3-point what?
Man, listen, our team, Jeff can tell you this. Before I got in this,
what was the GPA?
My team GPA for 5 years running was a 3.2.
3.2.
And we carried a roster of players. We didn't have just 20 or 30. Jeff can attest to it. He saw it himself. They had a roster of 18 kids total prior to me getting there. And for 5 years running, we were averaging 50 to 55 young people on that roster. And the JV had 30 to 35. So we were really bringing them up the ladder. And it was a multi-ethnic group of kids.
Southwest Detroit.
And you kept a 3.2 average.
Man, I had kids. My little field goal kicker at the time, Mohammed Galem, he's a pharmacist now. Jermaine Warman is a master's level student working in the University of Michigan library system now. He lived in a Cracker Barrel's house over off of Michigan Avenue. As he didn't even have cheese to go on his crackers. Jermaine Warman went to Albion. He's successful. I can just go down the list. Mike Stevens is now an executive with Nokia. He's down in Mississippi. We've got kids all over the country doing some great things. Jerome Holmes, one of the baddest defensive linemen I ever coached, has been a state championship coach, and he's an executive with Bluebell, which is an ice cream company in Iowa. Mm-hmm. He's doing fine.
That's some good ice cream too, man.
Yes, sir. We've got the reason why I brag is because it wasn't about me, but it was my ABC. It was my ABCs, and you all will love this. You probably get a T-shirt made up there, branded, and run with it. The ABCs for Shannon Mayfield is attitude, which shapes your behavior and reflects in your character. And if you don't have those things right, you can forget success. But it starts with your attitude. It doesn't start with all of your likes on Twitter and who you TikToking with and all. No, you have to have your mindset right because your circumstances do not mandate your outcomes. Your attitude does. And so that's just the way we got down over there. I mean, we had kids doing community service back then. I mean, it was a beautiful time to be in education. My coaching staff, a group of men representing black males from top to bottom, young and old, including my dad. My late father was on that staff. That's the way we got down over there. So they were getting intelligence shared with them from many lenses, but it was all because the ABCs of the coach was strong, and this is how we're doing it. You're not going to come up here and just be a football player. I want you to be an even better human being, and that's the way we did it.
Now, what's the B?
What's the B and the C? Don't stop there.
Oh, okay. No. The attitude is the A. The B part of it is your behavior is shaped by your attitude. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then your character is the C, because attitude shapes your behavior, and it reflects in your character. Those are the ABCs. Those are the ABCs.
I like that. Yeah, my dad had a saying about success. He said that the ingredients to success were 5% knowledge, 10% ability, and 85% perspiration, which means you didn't have to know it all. You didn't have to be able to do it all, but you had to work hard as hell to get to succeed. And I'm with that. I feel that 100%. Well, that parallels with what my dad used to say. Right.
And he was from Louisiana. You know, he could say, you can have all the degrees in the world, Mr. Butler. You can have all of the network in the world. But if you don't have on the inside of you, he said, if you don't have give a damn, it's not going to matter. and that's where the perspiration comes from.
Right.
Right.
You're not going to work if you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of things you can teach. It's a lot of things you can buy. But those are not the things you can buy. You can't buy give a damn, is what he would say.
And Mr. Mayfield called me Key.
Yeah.
All right, Keith.
All right.
I got you, Keith.
Okay.
I got you, Keith.
All right.
But yeah, no, that's how I got out of into education, man. All of those things. You know, I'm just blessed by the best, man. We trying to be better people and serve other people.
Well, you know,
I think we. Go ahead.
It says a lot about yourself and your parents, because my mother was a teacher, and my father was a pastor.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, I fell from the tree, but
No, he fell off the tree at a
rolled
very
away.
young age.
Look, and rolled away, rolled a long way away. But
Yeah.
you know, I remember I would go to my mother. She was a librarian in elementary school, a librarian, and we'd always go at the end of the year and help her straighten up the library. So we could get out of town. But I remember thinking, you know, watching the kids, some of the behavior, I'm like, there's no way in the world I could do that. I don't think I had the patience or the tolerance to deal with kids with so many different attitudes and
Right.
you know,
Right.
and so forth. I mean, I admire anybody who can teach. Jeff did special education.
Yeah.
And, you know, I
Jeff was
admire
in the building with me.
anybody who's got
Yeah.
the patience and the tolerance, man, because it takes a lot.
Yeah.
You got to have
You know,
patience.
yeah.
You
You know,
got to have it.
You're dealing with,
Well-
30, 40 different attitudes and personalities at any given
No,
time.
not that many. More than that.
Well, I'm talking about it
yeah.
in a classroom setting.
Well,
You know,
I'm talking about in the
throughout day.
classroom setting too, because you got to deal with their parents.
Yeah.
So-
No, you deal with multiple levels of challenges,
Yes.
and you know, again, it's back to the ABCs.
Right.
But believe me, it is. If your attitude isn't right, your behavior isn't going to be right, and your character isn't going to be right, and you're going to have many problems. But when your attitude is right, you're going to be very successful. And I can say that honestly because, you know, male, female, black, white, blue, or green, you know, when you connect with them and they know you care and you start having conversation with them, the conversation is what takes away the confrontation.
Mhm.
Because now you're having a conversation. We can disagree. We can have situations that you know are preferences, but when you have conversation based upon relationship, you're good to go, and you're going to be successful.
Shannon, I am so glad that you called me, because you're absolutely right. You're 100% on the button about everything we're discussing. And I'm so happy we are able to talk about this topic, because this topic, especially in Detroit, when you look at the educational system and all the schools that have closed, and that's due to
Not
the
just in
population.
Detroit. Not
Well,
just
not
in Detroit.
not just urban
know,
areas.
yeah.
Urban areas,
Yeah.
period.
Let's
You know,
put it
urban
out there.
hubs, these schools have been just disintegrating and disappearing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Detroit is not, you know, immune to
different.
that. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
No.
And but let's look at that for a minute. You know,
Multiple times over in Detroit. It's happened multiple times over.
multiple times. You know what?
180,000 students when we were doing our thing at Southwestern, and
Absolutely.
now it's down to barely 50 to 60,000.
Right. But tell me,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What can, you know, what must we do? Because when you look at other countries,
Yep.
they don't have these shortcomings in their educational system.
Yeah.
And a lot of
That's
times,
true.
you know, people from other countries, they come here
Yeah.
to get a college degree,
Come on.
a BA,
Come on, man.
a master's,
man.
a doctorate,
on.
and go back to their countries maybe, but
Come on.
continue here. Tell me, what can we do to develop our educational system a lot better?
Well, first of all, man, we do all this talking all the time, but you know who gets a free pass and an exemption on this? The home front. See, education, first learning starts at home, man.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, before they even get to school, they have been around people. Okay, so now with all of the different things going on with families and dysfunction, grandparents raising, aunts raising, guardians, the family fragment has been so fractured in this country, not just for folks of color,
Yeah.
but for a whole lot of folks. So now you've got that 0 to 5 issue where kids are not getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. And then think about this. I'm glad you mentioned foreign people and foreigners that come over here. So not only do they come over here, these students come over here speaking 2 and 3 languages.
Yes,
right.
Do. Yep.
Okay, so here we are, can barely speak the one, which is English, can't write it worth a tap, got a $1,500 cell phone that we got to do Google search to spell check for you. Okay, and then when you say, hey, I need you to give me a statement, I don't need the phone. I need you to be able to articulate, why should I admit you into this program? Or tell me why, you're qualified. And the first thing comes out of a lot of kids' mouth is, oh, you straight tripping. You did that. Well, hold on just a second. We're trying to help you. You can't even write your name on a line correctly. You can't give me a statement that says, I am interested in biotechnical engineering.
Uh-oh. You there, Shannon? Okay.
It's so heartbreaking to see that, but it starts at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It does start at home. So now kids come to kindergarten, first grade, and they need tutoring. How do you need tutoring in kindergarten, first grade, and then you don't know how to behave?
Yeah.
Since
Right.
when do you go to school to learn how to behave? Who taught you how to behave at home?
Mm-hmm.
Who allowed you to act like you act at home? And so now when you call and tell a parent the kid is struggling with following simple instructions, they're telling you a bad teacher.
Yeah, they
well,
wanna
hold on
blame
just
you.
a second.
Yep.
So now you didn't teach them anything at home, and now little Momo and JoJo and all the nicknames you gave us, they can't even tell you it's 26 letters in the alphabet. They don't know odd from even. They don't know how to do basic stuff. And you telling us that we did a bad job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, what is going on, man? What is going on? So it's so many challenges involved in that. And then let's not talk about educational leadership
Mm-hmm.
and the people that have degrees, because now data is so important. And we want to use data to drive decisions, but you haven't used relationship to connect, to make the decisions even easier for you. So now you're not connected to anybody, but you want to impress people with all this number crunching and all this analytics and stuff. But, well, that's not people-centered. You know what I'm saying? That's data-centered.
Right.
So it's so many things that need to be fixed when you're trying to manage accordingly. And then when you start talking about experience, one of the questions I've asked recently in one presentation I had to do wasn't being insulted, wasn't being an ego about it, egomaniac. I said, what experiences qualifies your opinion? And they were stunned. They couldn't answer it. I'm not, listen, I want to hear from you. You want people to follow you. You want people to jump on board. What experiences qualifies your opinion? Because you're not talking facts here. You're giving me opinion. Well, what experiences do you have to lead this? And a lot of times you have your PhD, but you don't have the experience with it. Mm-hmm. So it's so many odd abnormalities is what I want to say. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a real interesting time in education. It does take the rare individual to do these types of things because you're having to handle so many different levels of challenges. It's still rewarding work. It really is. I'm honored to be involved. It's a high calling, to your point, Keith. It's a high calling to be in education to serve other people because everybody can't do it.
Right.
Well, I think you're prepared for it listening to you, man. Jeff and I generally, interject a lot. We try to, but every now and then we get somebody who was just so fascinating. We just sit here and listen. And so I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whoa. And I think that you are prepared, man. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, tell us about some of the places you've taught and what's next for you. And from what I understand, you're coming back to the state of Michigan. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely.
We're running out of time,
Absolutely.
but get that in right quick.
Yeah, well, real simple in a nutshell. Started out in the Detroit public schools, teaching mathematics and coaching. Administrative trail started there. I was handpicked for administrative assignment by the late, great Dr. John Marie. She came in my classroom and said, when you come back from Thanksgiving break, you're going to be the principal because the principal has to go take care of her ailing mom down in Alabama. And it shocked me. Like, what are you talking about? She says, I'm using my privilege to assign you leadership, and I want you to pour into this school the way you've been pouring into your classroom. So that's what started me on the trail. So from the state of Michigan, when the budgetary things and the position crunches and enrollment declines took place, I didn't have enough seniority to stay. I ended up going from the state of Georgia from Michigan into the state of Georgia, Metropolitan ATL, College Park, as an assistant principal, continuing the trail in education. My parents became ill. I came back to Michigan after going to Georgia. I was at Birmingham Groves for 3 years under Fred Proctor, excellent administrator in the Birmingham School District, and continued the journey. Birmingham went through a budgetary deficit reduction program because the mortgage market was tanking and folks were moving and had to leave. They lost enrollment. So that position shifted me. So then I went from back in Michigan to the state of Pennsylvania as the first black principal in the history of Manheim Township, Amish country. Wow. And then from there to Allentown. Allentown never had a black principal, where Lee Iacocca went to school. Went into Allentown and turned the school with 2,800 around. It was supposed to be one of the worst in the state. And bomb threats and this and that. And you know how many bomb threats we had when I was there. You can count them on both fingers because there were none. None. Attendance went up, discipline went down, kids started graduating. I mean, kids from Allen are going to places like Wesleyan, Stanford, Vanderbilt. Come on, man, just lit a fire, just nurture it and keep nudging. And so now the opportunity to come to Cali came because the supervisor I had at William Allen said, listen, I need you to come transition, turn around this place. Did it. The opportunity to return home is there, and I'm all for it, man, because it would be less of me to not pour into students, families, and the state that poured so much into me. So it's a full circle thing. And then the cherry on top is my grandkids for my youngest son are only about 65 miles away from East Lansing in Archbold, Ohio. So they're about 65 miles away. So that's a no-brainer, man. That's why I'm doing this. That's basically where I am right now. I like to be dynamic, but I like to be dynamic in what I pour and share with others too.
All right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, man, look, before we wrap up, what's your secret, man? What's the secret?
It's no secret.
The secret, the secret is we're blessed by the best. Okay. And each and all of us have a gift. I'm going to tag you all with this, and I'm sure you'll have me back later at some point. Can't wait to handshake and hug with you both.
Oh, definitely.
But we all have our own gift. And gift stands for God is forever true.
Man, you got some great sayings, man. I love them. I love the ABCs. I love the gift. I love the conversation you just had with us, man.
Man, please. It's an honor and a pleasure, brother. It's an honor and a pleasure, brother. I'm honored to. That just shows you how blessings flow, man. I just called in to update my man because he called me 2 weeks ago checking in on me, and I said I'm gonna have news for you. So here I am giving you the news, but the news comes on a day that you all are doing your thing. So you got to tune up, tighten it up, and share it out there like you all are doing. So
hey, we spreading the word, baby. We spreading the word.
Send me the link. I'll share it with my network, and you can get some more listeners in, and we're going to keep this thing moving, man.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate it. And, Jeff, I'm going to tell you, right, everybody, I don't know how Jeff does it, but, man, you know some fantastic people, brother.
Well, hey.
I mean, you know, Jeff knows people. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They've been some fantastic people like Mr. Mayfield here.
Yes.
Just excellent guests. But, look, we're going to wrap it up today right now. We've had a great show, I like to think.
Mayfield, thank
Shannon,
you, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
It's an honor, man.
Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Because
can't wait.
We need teachers like you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Let me share this one thing, Shannon.
Go ahead.
Educator, author, coach, father, and grandfather, and soon to be administrator back in Michigan. Welcome home, brother.
Welcome home, man.
Glad to be here, man. So in some parts of the country, they call me Mad Mayfield. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's already my personal brand. Mad Mayfield stands for making a difference.
Okay, bro. So thanks a lot, man. And everybody, thanks for listening. We're about
Thank
to
you.
sign off.
That's right.
And remember, this has been powered by True Detroiter and
Yes.
Detroit United. And if you have any questions for us, you can hit me up at my email address, which is kebu10@yahoo.com.
And if you have any questions for me, you can hit me up at jlow1215@gmail.com. And don't forget, True Detroiter t-shirts, Detroit United t-shirts, hats, we got them. Just come on and we can get you one. Vincent, yours is on the way. I'm Jeff Lowe. That's Keith Butler.
Thanks for listening. And remember,
If somebody asks you where you heard it, just tell them, I caught it on the